Sharon Goe.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, and members of the community. Tonight, I'm happy to introduce to you our new Code Enforcement Officer, Juan Becerra. He has about 20 years of experience in public safety and municipal code enforcement. Most recently, he came from the city of Santa Cruz as a police officer. Prior to that, park ranger. And then prior to that, in Oregon as a bilingual officer. He was also involved in college as a multi-sport athlete, and he's still, I think, pretty involved in sports. So please join me in welcoming Juan Becerra.
Good evening, City Council. I'm just thankful for the opportunity to continue to serve the community, and I'm excited to be here and give my best effort in serving the community of Gilroy. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Next employee introductions will be by Human Resources Director Leanne McPhillips.
Good evening, Council, members of the community. Leanne McPhillips. I'm not as impressive as Sharon. I have to have notes in order to remember everything about everyone, so bear with me. I'd like to first introduce Alyssa Remley. Alyssa? Please join me in welcoming Alyssa Remley as our new Human Resources and Risk Management Technician for the City of Gilroy. She began work on November 24th, and you may recognize her because she was here all summer as our Human Resources College Summer Intern. Alyssa went through the competitive hiring process and was the one selected for this position, and we are excited to have her on our team. She has a bachelor's degree in sociology from San Jose State. She graduated with honors. She also holds 2 AA degrees, social and behavioral sciences, and culture and global studies. While she was completing her bachelor's degree, she joined the Society for Human Resources Management on the San Jose State campus and decided that this was a career path that she wanted to follow. She also obtained various certificates to further bolster her education and gain hands-on experience this past summer as our intern. She has also worked for Aviana Healthcare and the Bay Area Tutoring Association. Alyssa joins an elite group of former City of Gilroy interns who maximized their learning and experience, impressed us, and then landed a full-time job with the City of Gilroy. This is yet another example of building our bench and our college internship program showing success. Alyssa is excited to support the city organization and all the awesome Gilroy employees. She is looking forward to learning and making a positive impact. So please welcome Alyssa.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the Human Resources and Risk Management Department again. I'm honored to work with such an amazing team and really looking forward to the years to come. Thank you, guys.
Next, I'd like to introduce Diego Zepeda Amador. Diego? Diego joins our team as a new equipment mechanic in the fleet division and brings 5 years of hands-on automotive experience, beginning his career in a dealership environment right after graduating from high school. Starting with essential services such as oil and filter changes, tire rotations, and vehicle inspections, he steadily advanced into more complex diagnostic and repair work. Diego has developed strong expertise in servicing a wide range of vehicles. His experience includes preventative maintenance as well as advanced repairs such as transmission replacements. He has a little reputation. He's known for clean, detailed workmanship and the trust he builds with customers. Diego constantly demonstrates professionalism and pride in his craft. Most recently, Diego worked as a technician at Gilroy Chevrolet Cadillac, where he performed diagnostics, maintenance, and repairs on both GM and non-GM vehicles while actively training in the GM certification program. His commitment to growth is further supported by a strong set of technical certifications in the mechanic field. We are confident that Diego's technical knowledge, his positive attitude, and his dedication to quality will make him a great addition to our organization. So please join me in welcoming Diego to the City of Gilroy.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First and foremost, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm beyond excited to work with you guys. And as Mr. Tom Klein mentioned, I look young, but looks can be deceiving. And I'm excited to be here. I'm more than motivated to learn and grow. and I hope to be here for years to come. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
Okay, last but certainly not least, Louis Silvera. Please join me in welcoming Louis Silvera as our new Senior Facilities Maintenance Specialist. Louis brings 36 years of construction experience and extensive background as a licensed general contractor. His hands-on expertise spans HVAC, electrical, plumbing, framing, carpentry, drywall, tile work, concrete work, stucco roofing, you name it, he's done it. He has a long history of delivering large-scale, mission-critical projects on time and within budget, and he has a proven understanding of building, mechanical, plumbing, energy, and electrical codes, as well as state and local regulations. Throughout his career, Louis has overseen multiple projects simultaneously. He's managed teams, and he has developed strong relationships with those he works with. His strengths include quality control, regulatory compliance, cost management, leadership, training, and exceptional client relations. Louis looks forward to applying his extensive background to support facility operations here at the City of Gilroy and contribute to a safe, efficient, and well-maintained city work environment and facilities for our community. Outside of work, Louis enjoys traveling and spending time outdoors. Please join me in welcoming Louis to our facilities team.
Well, first I wanted to thank Leanne and Walter for giving me the opportunity to be part of their team. Thank you, Council. I'm looking forward to being part of the success of the team, and I bring a pretty extensive background and a lot of knowledge and expertise. I know I can do a lot of good for the city. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to presentations to councils. Number two. Item 2.1 will be the 2025 City of Gilroy highlights video by Rochelle Bedell.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a long-standing tradition of the city that at the end of the year we put together a video that tries to encapsulate some of the hard work that our team has done throughout the year. So it's highlights. It definitely doesn't cover everything that's been done, but we hope you enjoy the video.
Thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 2.2. Presentation will be by Santa Clara District Attorney's Office, Children's Advocacy Center for South County presentation. Please, thank you.
Thank you so much. No one should have to go after that presentation. That was fantastic. And I don't have a great soundtrack either. I'll just have to hum along. I'm James Gibbon Shapiro. I'm an assistant district attorney at the Santa Clara County DA's office. I'm joined tonight by Tasha Wiggins, our victim services director, Jennifer Putoff, our program manager for the Children's Advocacy Centers in Santa Clara County. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about something that we hope is going to be in the highlight presentation at the end of next year, which is the opening of the South County Children's Advocacy Center. So the vision, the mission, is to provide all services for sexually abused and physically abused children under one roof here in South County at VHC Morgan Hill, which is the DePaul complex. We opened a San Jose Children's Advocacy Center in 2021. And what we did was we stopped the madness of having children have to go from place to place to place with their families to receive critical services, and provided all of those services under one roof. But what we found was that children who needed those services from South County, because of the distance, because of other barriers, weren't making it up to San Jose. And we know that there's a critical need here for the children in this community. And so we're very proud that we're opening a South County CAC so that we can have the impact that we're having in San Jose. So one of the things we do is we do a survey for families and caregivers for the experience of the kids and the families as they go through our Children's Advocacy Center in San Jose. And you can see some of those results. I'll just say that since we opened in 2021, we're the highest rated Children's Advocacy Center west of the Mississippi, and we expect South County to do even better. The kind of services we provide are in partnership with the police, multidisciplinary forensic interviews, medical exams, follow-up medical care, therapy, victim advocacy services, and training for professionals who do all sorts of work with abused and neglected kids. Our partners, in addition to the Gilroy Police Department, so these are our partners in addition to the Gilroy Police Department, are the Sheriff's Office, the Morgan Hill Police Department, DFCS, nonprofit partners, and of course, the Valley Medical System. I'm not going to go through every room in this diagram, at least not without a good soundtrack to do it. So I'm going to skip over this one, but we'll have this for questions. Our plan had been to open in summer of 2026. We've had a little bit of a delay with the contracting, so we're expecting now fall 2026. But I want to say that the cost of the renovation of the second floor at DePaul is being paid for by the county to the tune of $7 million. That the services that are being provided to the people of Gilroy are largely not with the cost to the people of Gilroy. The cost that you have is the cost that you're already paying for your fantastic police department, and then a shared cost for professional forensic interviewers at the center. So lots of times police detectives can and should interview children who've been abused or neglected, but sometimes they want to rely on a professional who all they do is interview children about the things that are so difficult to talk about. And so that's a shared cost between the DA's office, the Sheriff's Office, Morgan Hill Police Department, and Gilroy Police Department, but not in the first year. In the first year, that cost is going to be exclusively paid for by the DA's office, so get the first year free. We're hoping that you connect with us and that you have lots of questions for us, and we're ready to answer your questions because we're so excited to be providing this service for the kids in the community of Gilroy.
Any questions? No. Go ahead, Councilmember Hilton.
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you for seeing this need down here. And oftentimes you'll find that the burden of just transportation out of Gilroy, oftentimes, and even Morgan Hill, sometimes you just goes unreported, I would imagine. So I really appreciate that, and thank you. This is the first time I've ever seen you all come here and present. It's always an opportunity. So I would say take us up on that opportunity next year to be able to come back and give us some important updates. And if there's anything that we can share in our newsletters or anything like that or on social media to get the word out once you do open, please don't hesitate to let us know.
But we'd really love as many members of the City Council to come to our ribbon cutting ceremony when we have that, and we will definitely keep you posted on the progress with the renovations and of our opening. And I really want to thank Interim Chief Smithy, former Interim Chief Binder, and Captain Powell, who's here with us tonight, because they've been great partners.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. The medical exams that you talked about, does that include SART exams?
Yes. Okay. So SART stands for Sexual Assault Response Team. So the medical exams, they're now called SAFE exams, Sexual Assault Forensic Examinations. So a big part of the medical team there is providing kind and non-intrusive medical examination for children who've been sexually abused. So SART exams, SAFE exams, and follow-up care that they need, both for kids who are very young through their teenage years, as well as medical care for kids who have been physically abused. Great question.
Looks like we have no further questions, so thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 2.3, public comment by members of the public on items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council.
Yes, I have 7 speakers currently. I'm going to call up Kiana, then Patty and Araceli. Follow. You guys will come.
Patty, right over here in the center.
Oh.
Please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and everyone. My name is Kiana. I'm proud to call Gilroy my home. I'm speaking tonight as a member of the South County resident group for Santa Clara Family Health Plan. As you may heard, the health plan will be opening the new South County Community Resource early next year, and we are excited. As a resident advisor, we've been a part of the process for a couple of years. We've attended meetings and provided input for the center, such as the name of the center, the programs and the services, and the outdoor mural that you'll be seeing soon. This center is important for our families. We look forward to the free services and health programs that will be provided in the community, such as cooking, classes, Zumba, youth enrichment programs. Tonight, I want to express our gratitude to the City of Gilroy and the council members. Your collaboration has been important, and we ask that you continue supporting its development and opening. We thank Santa Clara Family Health Plan and the City of Gilroy for bringing this vision to life. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council and our community. My name is Patty Pena. I was born and raised in Gilroy, and I'm so proud to be part of the Santa Clara Family Health Plan Resident Advisory Group. I'm here tonight to just say thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being there for us. We haven't had a community resource center in South County, so this will be the first, and I'm really appreciative that we have all come together to make that happen. So, of course, like Tiana was saying, you're all invited to the ribbon cutting. You're all invited to the future of this community resource center that our community will be able to enjoy and be part of. As she was mentioning, they'll be able to have educational classes, cooking classes, things that we've all looked for our community to work in our health. And, we've talked a lot about health and all issues going on in our community. So we're really appreciative that this is coming to South County. Thank you for the partnership. Thank you for the City of Gilroy for the partnership, for everyone coming together to make this happen. There'll be other folks speaking, and so we're here to just basically say thank you for all the support, and we hope to have a continued partnership and support for the Community Resource Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas noches, señor alcalde. Buenas noches, concejal. Mi nombre es Araceli de la Cruz y estoy orgullosamente residente de aquí de Gilroy. Estoy aquí esta noche junto con mis compañeros para agradecerles a todos su apoyo al nuevo Centro de Recursos Comunitarios del sur del condado que se ubicará en la Beverly Road. Muchos de nosotros en la comunidad esperamos con entusiasmo los programas y servicios gratuitos que ofrecerá el Plan de Salud Familiar en Santa Clara en nuestro nuevo centro. Este centro también será un recurso importante para nuestras familias. Su colaboración ha sido muy esencial y les pedimos respetuosamente que continúen apoyándonos en el desarrollo y apertura del centro. Gracias.
Next, we have Lucy, followed by Terry, and then Greg Felios.
Buenas noches, miembros del Consejo, alcalde Pozo, personal de la Oficina del Gobierno de la Ciudad y presentes. Soy Lucy Navarro, soy jubilada del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Gilroy, soy intérprete y traductora y líder de la comunidad. He residido en Gilroy desde hace más o menos 40 años. Ahora, como miembro del grupo asesor de residentes y durante todo este proceso, también estoy aquí para agradecer al gobierno de la ciudad de Gilroy su colaboración con Santa Clara Family Health Plan. Este sueño no hubiera podido ser posible sin su colaboración. Continúen apoyándonos durante el desarrollo de la apertura del Centro Comunitario de Recursos de Santa Clara Family Health Plan en el sur del condado. Esperamos que nos acompañen en el próximo evento de inauguración, el 28 de enero de 2026. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Bozo and all of the council members. Thank you so much for your time here. Most of you already know me. My name is Terry Hernandez. I'm a resident of South County, and I'm here tonight as part of a group to thank all of you very much for being a partner and helping our vision come to life. We've been volunteering as resident advisory members for Santa Clara Family Health Plan for a couple of years, and now the center is a reality. This is a center where many of families can come to learn and be part of the community. The center will also offer some youth enrichment programs, which is an important resource for our community in Gilroy, San Martin, and Morgan Hill. I thank all of you for your partnership on this. Thank you very much.
Honorable public servants and community, three quick things. Number one, over the weekend they had the Christmas parade here in Gilroy, but they also had it at the same time in Morgan Hill. It'd be great if next year, if somehow we can work with Morgan Hill. I know people would love to have gone to both of them. So if it was on the same day, if there's something you can do about having because they were both great. I went to both of them and they were both great. Number two, that highlight film was great. All those great people working for the city. You know, we don't appreciate all that is done for the city. You know, at the end of the year, oh, that was great though. So I just want to remind people in the community, hey, you know, there's these people working, and if there's some way you can thank them, if you see people working, thank them, instead of just waiting for the end of the year to thank them, say, oh yeah, that was great, it was a great year we had. Thank them throughout the year. Appreciate them throughout the year. You know, just remind people that, hey, yeah, you are doing good work, and we do appreciate it. So we'd like you to, every so often, hey, highlights. I know the Gilroy Police Department always has highlights of all good things that they've done. Let's have everybody do highlights throughout the year. Let's have a highlight section of city activities. I'm sure you already do, but get it out there. Number three, at the end of this month, there's one more election. Again, we're doing the county assessor. So today the ballots went out in the mail. So you'll be getting some ballots in the mail for the county assessor. Please read the information and please vote by December 30th for the county assessor. Read and make an informed decision on which of the two candidates you'd like. Thank you.
Ron Kirkish, followed by Amos.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Administrator, and City Attorney, and staff, and community. Over the last several weeks, and thanks to the Gilroy Police Department and the city, I was able to get a lot of information since 2022 regarding all the criminal referrals that DA Rosen refused to prosecute. His whole agenda is to not prosecute crimes related to drugs and drug paraphernalia. That's what my research showed, and I want to thank Luke and the police department for their help in getting that information. So I wish Mr. Rosen's staff was still here, because what I found recently was since Mr. Rosen has been our DA, we've seen a climb, a very big climb of OD deaths, drug OD deaths of over 300 to 350%. And yet he still refuses to prosecute crimes. These people are dying, but he doesn't seem to either, he doesn't understand or know, but it seems also doesn't seem to care. So somebody in the police department was nice enough to bring this this information to my attention, and I had this poster made up at the printing spot. They did a very good job. And as you can see, California is by far, the deep blue, is by far the most state with the most OD deaths, very close to 11,000 in this year, which I believe is 2023. Isn't that enough people to die for drug overdose for Mr. Rosen to wake up and say, I have to do something about it? It doesn't seem he's willing to do that. So I'm going to show this to other cities as they have their city council meetings. So thank you. And please, when you run into Mr. Rosen, if you have a chance, please tell him to change his agenda. And let's start doing something to keep people alive. Thank you.
Amos?
Good evening, and first of all, I'd like to say my name is Amos Brown, and I'm also been an ordained minister since 1997, and I didn't tell anybody about it because, see, when you tell people about that, they change their attitude, and you don't see who they are. What you don't know is this, is that I'm the one that met with a man from the police department 2 weeks in San Jose of the father, son, who shot the Marine. He's a Marine. He has a son. How would I know that? Because he came there. I'm going to tell you what happened. What was greater, the punishment that was given to me or the curse that God asked me to give to you, which was to lose the Garlic Festival? Do you want it back? You're going to have to cut. There's no pope, no priest, or no minister that will help you out of this mess. What was done to me and my family was horrific. The only person that was saved among you all was Ferroti. I have his truck in San Jose. How could I possibly know an officer of the laws, anybody about them here in Gilroy, unless he was up in San Jose? I'm sitting down discussing quantum physics with somebody. I'm an ordained minister. I'm ashamed of what was done to me in this town and what you did to my family. But I tell you this, until you're ready to do that, I can tell you for a fact. He asked me, he says, what do you want to have done? I said, take the Garlic Festival away. And the way he did it was amazing because he took it in such a way, he took everything that you took from me and more. You haven't learned a lesson, have you? At 6 years old, I had the calling. At 6. What was done to a lot of people in this town was wrong. I was sent here as a messenger. I don't have a church, but I am a messenger. If you want to get this off you, if you want this curse to stop, it's going to be for 7 years. No matter how much you try, he comes to me and he tells me, look, they're trying again. He's going to stop it. No matter what you do, he's going to stop it. I'm sorry that I had to, because there's a lot of noble people here. Believe me, there's a lot of you that are very noble in the things that you have done. I've heard it, and God hears you. But the things that happened to me and what was done to my family was tragic. It's a slap across the face to a man who walks with God. I hear nothing. Thank you for your time. And when you're ready to get the curse off, when you don't believe it's true, you'll come to me. Because I'll tell you, when I die, he'll stay. You'll have to come to me to see how it's going to happen. Because I've already been told how it's going to be done. So do what you wish. This is the only warning that you're going to get. I've been asking him, don't send me back here. I don't want to be back here. But he said, I'm from San Jose.
Thank you
Why
very
do
much.
I want to be here?
Thank you very much. Your 3 minutes is up. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bozo.
Yeah, thank you.
I have no further speakers.
All right. So moving on to item number 3, reports of council members. Councilmember Bracco. Nothing to report. Councilmember Fugazzi.
Yes, from Visit Gilroy. 2025 has been a great year for Visit Gilroy and with a very successful new website. I hope you've all seen it. And more well-received branding along with updated video and photo assets and a new user's guide. Visit Gilroy continues to market art, culture, local and regional events, and our hub-like location as key aspects that make Gilroy stand out from other communities. In addition, Visit Gilroy has added tourism-related marketing pieces like the Ale Trail, Mural Trail, and Wineries of Gilroy brochure. Visit Gilroy currently is also in the process of replacing the city kiosk map. You might have seen it downtown at Monterey and 5th Streets. And also there's a new online calendar that allows tourism-focused activities to be easily updated by tourism-related businesses. We're grateful to all the volunteers and staff members that enable Gilroy's rich offering in events and activities. On another note, I wanted to personally thank each and every staff member that has worked so hard this year to adapt and adjust to this new council. I know it hasn't always been easy. From my perspective, we've accomplished so much this year, even with a few ups and downs. One thing I would like to point out specifically is that with the added involvement of residents, the implementation of the C-Click Fix platform, and the amazing work of city staff this year, we've accomplished cleaner streets, much needed landscape work, important parks maintenance, resolved blight, enforced signage and other city code, and performed many abatements of abandoned and unregistered cars and RVs on the streets. Many residents are telling me they love what they're seeing and are so happy with the progress that we're making. I also wanted to thank my fellow council members and the mayor for making this first year for me not only enjoyable, but collegial and very productive as well. To the residents, thank you all for your patience, and please stay involved, keep coming to the meetings, let your voices be heard, continue to help keep Gilroy headed in the right direction as we grow, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember remarks.
Yes, in November, the Habitat Agency met. It was a very brief meeting. I think we were out of there in 15 minutes. What we did talk about was the ad hoc's proposal for the annual director's compensation package and review. And the executive officer shared just the budget and what was made during the year and what was in the reserves. I want to say I have a big shout out to the Holiday Parade Committee. The committee worked endlessly for hours since February for this parade. I can attest to that fact, being a member of that committee and seeing how hard everyone was working. If it was up to Gilroy, we would have the parade on 2 separate nights, but our sister city to the north was going to do it and then change their minds. So anyway, that's something that the committee needs to keep working on. As part of the window decorating contest, if you haven't been downtown to see all of our downtown windows that have decorated, it is a very nice job that they did. First prize went to Fiesta Depot, second prize went to Saddles and Treasures, and third to Quinceañera Couture. We judged on the basis of how much hard work they put into their windows, how much time they had spent, and it was really a sight to see. It was very, very beautiful. And that's it. Happy holidays, all.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you. From the Valley Transportation Authority Policy Advisory Committee, we recommended adoption of the 2025 Congestion Management Program. The intent of the program is to develop a comprehensive transportation improvement program among local jurisdictions that will help improve multimodal transportation system performance, land use design, making, and air quality. It also provides practical strategies for improving the performance of the county's multimodal transportation system today, and a framework for developing proactive and innovative planning options for the future. VTA, as the county transportation agency for Santa Clara County, is responsible for updating the document every 2 years and submitted to the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, where it is evaluated for consistency on MTC's regional transportation plan. Following MTC's evaluation, the responsibility to implement the CMP rests with VTA and member agencies. From the South County Youth Task Force Policy Team, at our last South County Youth Task Force Policy Team meeting, I provided updates on the joint use agreements between the City of Gilroy and Gilroy Unified School District, with a focus on free, safe spaces for our youth to have after school and on the weekends, while continuing to build upon the great relationship and current agreements our agencies have together. A formal agenda will follow after the holidays, but please save the date of February 4th, 2026, for the next joint City Council GUSD Board annual meeting located in the GUSD boardroom, where joint use agreements will be an action item on the agenda, along with an informational presentation from the South County Youth Task Force. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
I just want to say I was fortunate to be invited as an alternate on Gilroy Gardens to their annual Gilroy Gardens Board of Directors retreat. I'm sure that the mayor will speak more about that, but I just was really excited and inspired by the day, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing where Gilroy Gardens will be moving in the future.
I would like to shout out to the holiday committee and just everything that all the volunteers, everyone that made this happen on Saturday. It was a great event, and just being a part of that, it was a blast. So I just want to say great job and thanks. And also to everyone out here and to the community, Merry Christmas. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll echo the sentiment on the parade. I thought it was incredible. It went very well. I know there are some hiccups at every big event like that, but the amount of planning that went into from the staff level was very important of making that a success, especially with the changes this year. So thank you very much for that. Yes, from Gilroy Gardens. Gilroy Gardens had a day-long retreat a couple weeks ago, and as Councilmember Ramirez said, it's very, very, very nice to see the collaboration that's going on out at Gilroy Gardens right now and the different approach that they're taking, and they're refocusing on their original mission, which is education and horticulture. And they've come up with some really good ideas and some really good goals on how to make Gilroy Gardens more sustainable. You know, they just celebrated 25 years, and the goal is to make it another 25 years. And it's not easy in that business. It's a very difficult business. So I'm very excited about what's going on at Gilroy Gardens. Number 3, I'd like to make a shout out to Councilmember Kelly Ramirez. There is a organization in the state of California. It's called the League of California Cities. And they're an organization made up of different electeds from all over the state of California. And Kelly has always found interest and sometimes concern of what goes on at the state level from state legislators. And instead of always talking about it, she got herself involved and got herself appointed to the Housing, Community, and Economic Development Policy Committee for the year 2026. So congratulations, Kelly. And finally, I would like to acknowledge and shout out to our Supervisor of District 1, Supervisor Sylvia Arenas. In my first year as mayor, I found that we've been able to collaborate on many things together. And one of those includes the inventory grant funding requests, grants that the supervisors do. And I just want to give a small glimpse of some of the funding that has come to South County in this past year from the supervisor's office. Poppy Jasper Film Festival, $5,000. Community Solutions, for one-time rental assistance for families, $20,000. Rebecca's Children's Services for vocational training, $17,000. Youth Alliance for leadership development of youth, $138,000. Gilroy Garlic Festival, $25,000 to help with security. La Ofrenda, $40,000. Gilroy Gardens Family Theme Park for STEAM and nature-based programming, $40,000. Gavilan College, $50,000. Gilroy Downtown Business Association, the organization that put on the parade this past weekend, $50,000. And South County Youth Task Force for Violence Prevention, $116,000. All totaled, Gilroy, probably when you add them all up, received over $750,000, and South County over $1 million. So again, a shout out and a thank you to Supervisor Sylvia Arenas for the collaboration that we've had this past year. That concludes my reports. So moving on to item number 4, consent calendar. Any questions from council on consent? Items on consent? Nope. Okay, we'll go right to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay, well then I will entertain a motion.
A motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Klein. Looking for a second. I have a second by Councilmember Ramirez to approve the items on the consent calendar, items 4.1 through 4.15. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, here, let me get caught up on my computer. Excuse me a second. Okay, so next item on the agenda is a public hearing. Item 5.1 is consider extending the urgency interim ordinance prohibiting the issuance of tobacco retail permits for a period of 10 months and 15 days within the downtown specific area. So since we, Andy, I want your consent here, if this is okay. Since we don't have an applicant, I would like to say a few words on this prior to staff making a report, if you guys don't mind. So a little bit background on this public hearing is that last month, as the mayor, I brought to council, I asked council to consider an urgency ordinance prohibiting the issuance of tobacco retail permits in the downtown specific area. And I did that because I felt like there was pressure in our downtown specific zone with the idea of smoke shops coming into that area. And I wanted this community to have a chance to review that. I wanted our council to have a chance to think about that. And I wanted, staff have a chance to give us some information and get back to us. And so we did have a council meeting about that. And a lot of great questions came from council to staff, which allowed us to learn more about the challenges that are happening within our community with tobacco retailers. And so now we're at a point where we have to make a decision or we have to have a discussion and make a decision if we're going to extend this for 10 months. And what I'm saying to council here today is knowing what I know now about some of the challenges with tobacco retailers in the city of Gilroy, I would have asked for a citywide ban for 10 months instead of a downtown specific area. The amount of challenges that I believe that we've received as the council members, some of it's in our packet, some of it's not, that would that changes the direction that I would like to go in. And I just think and I believe that the amount of challenges that we have with tobacco retailers in Gilroy is more than any of us imagined at this time. So that's what I wanted to say that before we move any further. And I'm not sure if it's okay if anybody had any comments on that, or do we have to go?
No, I think comments could be appropriate, and then the staff report.
Okay, so I mean, based on that,
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so when we talked about it last month, we talked about doing a temporary citywide ban, and then
it was discussed, but it wasn't part of the ordinance. It was downtown.
Right.
Correct.
But then it was my understanding that if we did that, I'm trying to recall it now, the way it was worded, and I'm not going to do it correctly. Somebody else probably will be able to recall it. But if we did that, it would have given we would have had to wait 45 days before we could do that, and then something.
No. We never really got to the point of asking for. I never even got close to asking for an urgency ordinance for a citywide. The time that we talked about a citywide was earlier in the year when the tobacco conversation got brought up, and then there was a conversation in this up here about should we consider citywide, and we decided not to. Other than that, there's been no other official conversation. So in review, I asked for a downtown area ban.
And we approved it.
We approved it. And then at that meeting is where I was just saying that a lot of conversation begun between council and staff. And since then, we've received a lot of information back about, and this is the word that I keep using over and over, is a lot of the challenges that exist with the tobacco retailers in this community. And so so I just wanted to put that out there. Again, if I could do this all over again, I would have asked for a citywide.
Mayor, I have a question. Councilmember Ramirez, I remember what you remember, because we did want a citywide, and we were told no, it was going to delay, getting something right there that night for downtown. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My question is going to be, can we turn this into a citywide ordinance tonight instead of just downtown? Can we, when we ask for the extension, can it be for the citywide? Because I was shocked when I read the staff report on what the city found out with some of these retailers.
Well, Andy's going to have to comment here, but I don't believe we can, but we can talk about doing a citywide in the very, very near future. But go ahead.
No, that is the mayor's comment is correct. The moratorium is under Government Code Section 65858. It's very detailed state statute about how this works, and you can adopt a moratorium with specific findings for 45 days. You can later extend it for 10 months and 15 days, and then another extension for another year. And each that has to be done by the statute. So a citywide ban would have to be a new moratorium, which the council could do, but not tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Fugati.
So I'd be willing to come back next week and hold a vote to have a citywide ban on this, knowing what I know right now, and avoid a lot of very uncomfortable discussion. I think it's that critical, having seen what I've seen and can't directly discuss. I think that the idea of delineating one area at this point puts certain new businesses at a disadvantage to existing businesses who themselves might not have been enacting in the best sense, and penalizes somebody who might actually want to run a decent business. And I think that's entirely unfair. So that's at least what I would push forward on this, is that I would find a way for us to have a meeting and have a vote on this.
I'll make a couple of comments. I agree with you, Mayor. I don't think there's a reason to have a whole staff report and staff come back up here and present basically repeat of November 3rd. I think we've all moved on from that. But I am in favor of doing a citywide. But I also think that we need to protect that large swath of land that we already feel the pressure to open up shops, and we already have shops that are down there that are open tonight, right now, that are not even haven't even legitimately gone through there. So I would say that I'd be more willing to say let's continue to push this forward. It's actually on here right now. Protect the downtown specific plan area with the intention that the mayor, the same way he got this on the item, if that means we come back before our break, then and they're ready, then so be it. But I would say at least by the first meeting in January would be a good target to set, because we don't know how long it would take them to draft up between here or there. But I think that we can leave here by saying, I think he understands that they can get that done. If sooner, the better.
I have another question, though. For those businesses who currently reside in that area who may not have a tobacco retailer's permit at this time, do they get grandfathered in at all because they already had an existing business and were not offered the opportunity or did not do that? That's an Andy question, probably.
We'd have to look at that, but probably not. Probably not, yeah. We have to look at these things.
Probably not meaning?
Probably not meaning, probably not grandfathered if they do not now have permits, because a grandfathered business would normally be one that has a permit.
Okay, good. That's good clarification.
And then if we were to go citywide, then a similar thing would occur, right?
Yeah, if we went citywide, there'd be a ban on new permits. Existing permits would be grandfathered. But
they would have to have permits.
Yes.
And licenses. That might be a crazy question for the audience, but when we read the staff report, many of them do not. And that was one of my questions, for staff, is like, how did that happen? That they did not have, some of the permits.
If they do not have a permit, then they're not grandfathered.
Right.
They're simply operating without a permit before a ban or operating without a permit under a ban, and enforcement can be taken against them.
Great point, and I like that. I like that idea a lot. Other questions from Kelly?
It's a question for staff, but I'm just wondering, we obviously need to wait a couple of weeks or until the beginning of January, however long it takes staff, but are there any new permits being processed right now? Or how long does a permit take to process if somebody ran in tomorrow?
Virgil Sangam, the finance director. Right now, in order for a business to come in, they would have to apply for a business license. And if the council were to adopt this ordinance, we would accept the application in itself, but if it's a tobacco business, we would not be issuing them a license at that point because of this ordinance, specific in the downtown specific area. With respect to what's in the pipeline, we do have 2 smoke shops that did apply, but because they did not comply with all the paperwork and the requirements to obtain the tobacco, we will be denying, and we have denied 1.
And is that in the downtown specific area, or is that citywide?
Both of those are in the downtown specific area.
Okay, so citywide, we don't have any in the pipeline?
No, I think those are the only 2.
Outside of the downtown specific.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
So now here's another hypothetical. So we go ahead and vote this up. That's going to handle everything it looks like in the downtown area. But now we have a period of time between now and we have the next meeting, whenever it is, and one of these existing shops that is problematic sees this and says, well, I'm going to get my perfect application in as soon as possible. What is the city's recourse at that point in terms of if it's not till January that we now say, well, now we got a moratorium on these, but they got their application in before that?
Yeah.
I think the answer is the city would have to look at the application, but there's no specific law requiring any action in any particular time on a permit like this. There are for planning permits of various kinds, but not for these kind of permits.
Okay. Oh.
Because they're not land use planning permits subject to the Permit Streamlining Act.
So does the council have to direct staff on what Andy just said, that a permit could come in, but you don't have to act on it?
No.
I don't think it's
No?
appropriate for the council to direct staff.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's no other comments for now, if it's okay with council, I'm going to go right to public comment, and then it comes back to us, and we can decide what to do from there.
Sounds good.
Are there public comments?
Public hearing.
Yes.
Public hearing, excuse me. Thank you.
Anne Marie McCulley, followed by Gary Walton.
You guys are doing so good. I don't even have to read this. I totally agree with what's going on up here. Walking downtown, seeing a little sign with a garlic smoking a joint. After everything that I'm trying to do to prevent kids from taking drugs, and then all of the trouble it is to get them sober, and whatever's you guys aren't allowed to say, we all know what's going on. So, I mean, it's not like it's a mystery, and really, really appreciate what you guys are doing right now. Thanks.
Thank you. The last meeting I came and spoke in favor of this, and it was limited to downtown, which was great, but I agree. I think this should be citywide. This type of use is inconsistent with what the intent of our specific plan was for downtown. If you just look at what's not allowed, if this was a thing back in the day, it wouldn't have been allowed. We would not have accepted that. I also mentioned last time that this is more about tobacco. These places sell drug paraphernalia. These places sell illegal drugs. You busted 4 of them 4 months ago. And so I think, even if you look at state law, under California Health and Safety Code 11364A, it's illegal to possess drug paraphernalia. Then why would we allow sellers to sell it if it's illegal to possess it? It makes no sense. And if we care about our community, we care about our kids, this is a use that we need to restrict. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron Kirkish.
I'd like to speak on this topic too. I believe it was recently that a smoke shop was busted for selling psychedelic mushrooms. Am I right? This is correct. You're right. These people have no conscience. They're going to break the law, and we don't need them here. Much less that we know that smoking cigarettes is unhealthy. It's a carcinogenic. And that's not a good thing for our society because it costs money to take care of these people. So we should do whatever we can to prohibit cigarettes, selling cigarettes in our community. And I think that should include Safeway, Nob Hill, 7-Eleven, all of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
All right, so back to us, and we have one question from City Administrator.
Yeah, and thank you, Mayor. I have a clarification for staff and our City Attorney. So, and I think, Arjo, this probably falls under you, is if this one is passed, let's just say we get directed to bring back a citywide on the 5th, which I believe is clearly doable. I wasn't clear on the effect for some of the non-smoke shop retail license individuals who may have had a retail license, but they let it lapse. And therefore, which is part of what we learned with respect to the enforcement of these, is that they can last and the record keeping needs to be better, which we're going to do. But with that said, what happens to those when they all of a sudden realize, oh, crud, I need to get my license in the grocery store or the mom and pop place? So is it anyone who does not currently have a license, or do they get any consideration if they previously had a license and it might have lapsed? So just looking, if you have any thoughts on that. I need clarification on that.
If I may, in a matter like that, that's actually up to the council, and the text of the moratorium ordinance itself can provide for pipeline or grandfathering terms as desired. So, for example, if the council wanted, then on January 5th, the new moratorium could say, with respect to non-smoke shops incidental tobacco usage that the licenses lapse, that they wouldn't apply to them, for example.
Okay.
Not recommending one way or the other, but that is possible. So
Thank you.
It's up to
So-
the council to the extent there would be pipeline or grandfathering.
Okay.
Harjo, did you have a comment first? Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to ask for clarification regarding that, so I think that works.
Okay.
So-
We go to Councilmember Fugazi, then I'll go to Hilton.
I think, given some of the information that was distributed to us and the small amount of time that we have, if we create a moratorium, it's a moratorium. I have very little confidence that 7-Elevens and small grocery stores and other places are also complying. I don't look at, I understand that some people think smoke shops are smoke shops, but the fact is that there are liquor stores and community markets and all kinds of these businesses who can be problematic, and I think they all should fall under whatever we come up with as the new thing that we come up with, and because we're not going to be able to go out and see who is complying in the interim and decide. Plus, I think it's going to be very difficult to draw the line, to be honest with you.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yeah, and I want to correct you. There was actually 8 stores that were in violation, not 4. We just found that out. But I do agree with you that we should treat them all the same, because the confidential memo that we received that we're talking about, that they were all over the place. It wasn't your typical. Not all of them were your typical thing that you think that they would be. So I do think that we need to treat them all the same, and that'll make it really easy on the community and staff and us to not have to differentiate between the two or go back to notes and figure it out. But literally, it would just be everything. So I don't know whether we need to put that in a motion after.
I actually would not advise that you do that, because that really will be a subject for discussion when a new moratorium comes.
The citywide.
So the citywide thing will just sit with you all in your office, separate from this. Is that
Until the 5th.
You can look
Until
at
the
it
5th.
that way,
okay?
if
Got
that's
it.
your direction.
Yeah, I'm making a commitment to the council that this will come back on the 5th. Stop it.
All right. Teasing her.
Yeah, I'm going to make one final comment, but and this goes to what everyone has been talking about here today about, did somebody apply, did it lapse, did it not lapse? Right. So I'm going to use my personal experience. Right. I've been a contractor for 30 years. It wasn't the state's fault or the state's problem to make sure I reapplied, and if I didn't, there were ramifications. And so I don't have a lot of sympathy. If you didn't reapply, you didn't reapply. So I'm not so concerned with that, but we can talk about that when this comes back on the 5th.
I still have one last comment that didn't get resolved, and it is part of this, which is there are many things in this ordinance, one of which is chain of ownership, and I would request that we look at that chain of ownership very quickly so that if we have to negate any of these TRPs for existing businesses that may not be valid because of that chain of ownership, that we get that done as well because of the sense of urgency.
I agree.
Okay, so based on what I'm hearing here, I think we have some consensus. So I'm going to move forward. It's a big ask here, so hold on. We have 3 different votes we're going to be taking, and so here I go. I'm going to entertain a motion to determine this action is exempt from environmental review under California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15262, Section 15060. 15060C3 and 15061B3 of the CEQA guidelines.
We can do all 3 of these at once.
Okay.
In this case.
And I'm going to keep going. And adopt an extension of the urgency interim ordinance established to prohibit the issuance of approval of any new tobacco retailer permit for an additional 10 months and 15 days within the Gilroy downtown specific plan area. Keep going.
Yes.
Review, approve, and issue the 10-day report as required by Government Code Section 6585D for the extension of the temporary moratorium.
So
Roll call.
Oh, so moved?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll second.
I think I heard everybody. I went a little bit too fast. So I have a motion by Councilmember Marks and a second by Councilmember Fugazi. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. So in addition to that, I want to make sure we're giving clear direction to staff to bring this back for a citywide ban on January 5th, please. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Moving on to item number 6.1, commemorative flag application review for calendar year 2026. Staff report, please.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. The application period for the 2026 commemorative flags have closed, and the city received one application for the progressive pride flag. Council per policy reviews applications for potential approval. A draft resolution approving any qualifying flag applications is attached for adoption, so in this case, the one applicant, if council decides to approve the application. That completes the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for staff, please. Councilmember Ramirez?
I don't have a question for staff. I was at a comment. Sorry.
Sorry. Just go ahead. Have a comment.
So I support the LGBTQ community in Gilroy, but I also struggle with having that flag on the flag with the United States flag and the state flag because I feel that those have tradition and history that they should be standing alone. I am going to apologize to the community of Gilroy. I was under the assumption that this was going to come back in 2 years, not this year. I would have done this sooner, but it is back this year. The only difference is we don't need, the applicant did not need the signatures and did not have to pay the significant fee. So I would like to ask the mayor if I could also get this on, perhaps not the January 5th, but I will be putting forth a fair memo requesting that we change the policy to have this flag not on the existing pole that it has been on, but on another pole erected at City Hall so that it can be hung on city property to show that the city supports the LGBTQ community, but then still provides the respect of the American and state flag.
I don't have anybody. So, Councilmember Hilton, excuse me.
Thank you. And Councilmember Ramirez, thank you for acknowledging that that pathway forward, because I think that what the historical part that I feel responsible is bringing along is that the current policy that we have right now, the application of the flag, was a compromise. It already has been a compromise, and the way that you're putting it forward still allows for that compromise. So I appreciate that. Because what that does is that allows more transparency, more time for you to be able to interact with the applicant, future applicants, and that community that's grown here to talk about, to bring them along. Basically, that's this doesn't have to be a divisive subject. It's something that, like I said, already took compromise, and so going into those talks and having that fair memo agenda, I think I respect that style in that way. And just want to say thank you for that. And my office and this community, I know that they're always standing willing and ready to compromise and to work with you and to work with anybody. They're not trying to just be exclusive to themselves. They're a community group that's full of advocates and willing to sit at the table with you. Thank you.
I'm going to go Fugazi and then Marks.
The first thing I'd like to say is pretty much similar to what I said last year, which is for an entire year now, people could apply. They could go through the process. We have a process. They've done what was asked of them to do, and therefore there's a flag that can be flown. I think that I'm very much in support of Councilmember Ramirez's approach, not because I think that the flag needs to be relegated somewhere else, but because of a couple of reasons, actually. Because of her reasoning around the U.S. flag and the state flag, as well as, although a compromise was reached at some point, as Councilmember Hilton said, there's still a level of division within the city that exists, and I'd like to see that mended up. I think it's appropriate to look toward that when you have residents who are contacting you from all sides of whatever a particular issue is to try to bring something back and to do that. And I would also encourage, because it's somewhat puzzling actually to me, and maybe it's because the city is not doing as decent a job as they can to inform the public that this flag policy is not just for one purpose, it's for many purposes. So if you are, the VFW or the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or many of these other organizations, and you want to have a month that's honored, it's there for you as well to do that. And the fact that we haven't received other applications for this is completely puzzling to me. I do believe that with the great square that we have out here, and right out in front of where everybody generally enters City Hall to go get services, right by the library and the entire gathering ground that we have, that it makes an incredibly good opportunity to have a community flag area where events can be held. It can accommodate lots of people, and hopefully we can get this brought back and have a really good discussion about it.
Councilmember Marks.
Well, Councilmember Fugazi said a lot of what I was going to say. I think in the fair memo, it really needs to be emphasized that it should be all community flags, not just one particular one, because I also agree that I only wanted to see government flags on our government City Hall flagpole. And yet, though, all groups do deserve the right to be honored and respected. And I really like this idea. And it would have to be in a fair memo and brought back to us for discussion and a vote. But I have a question for Andy, I guess. So where does it lead tonight's vote?
Well, tonight's vote is not a vote on the policy. The existing policy says commemorative flags may only be displayed on a flagpole located at City Hall. I interpret that to mean the existing flagpole. I think that's the way the policy was adopted and has been interpreted so far. So the discussion about the fair memo really would relate to a future council item to modify the policy.
Okay. And then if tonight we accept the pride flag to be flown at City Hall, would it be with the government flags, or would it be grandfathered into the new flagpole?
It would be, for this, at the moment, it would be the existing flagpoles.
Because there's no new flagpole yet. This is what the fair memo will ask us to consider a new
future.
Flag.
For future.
Could we possibly, could we possibly delay this vote until we see that comes forward and we have that discussion, and then come to the conclusion of whether or not it could be at the new flagpole or not?
Well, I'm not sure why I'm not following you why we need to delay the vote if we're going down the same process as you mentioned earlier, like a whole year has gone by, right? The same process happened the past 3 years. Why couldn't we just go through the regular vote today with the idea that everyone seems to be in concurrence that if we bring a fair memo and we start planning a new flagpole possibly for the future, then why do we need to delay this?
Because we don't know the result of that discussion that we'll have from the fair memo one, and that the application of this flag, I mean, again, whether or not you'd want it to be voted down tonight and not brought forward at all, or possibly bring it forward after we have the discussion on the fair memo, and maybe even hear from staff of whether or not they could put forth a flagpole in the time frame before June even comes up. I mean, those are all discussion points that could be had. There's no rush right now to get this approved tonight.
There actually is, and it's in the policy.
Okay.
In the policy, it says that you're supposed to make this decision by December. So we would be, not that we couldn't violate that policy if we wanted to, but we tend not to want to do that. That was the whole point of her putting that fair memo ahead of time, is to give that whole transparency and process. If we were to say, delay this vote, it would go against what's written in there, which Andy's looking at it right now. It basically says that you will get this done before the end of December.
So then the question I pose to you is, do you want to vote it down or possibly move it forward? Because it may vote down completely. So
I'm
saying to delay the vote. And
it down
See, I don't know if we can. I mean, we have an ordinance right now that states that, these are the steps that are taken to get this application done, and they have followed those steps.
Correct.
So,
Then why does it come to the vote at all?
because we have to approve
Policy.
it.
It's a policy.
It's compromise, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, everything we have done is compromise, and I think she is giving you the path forward, which I feel
Giving me?
comfortable with.
Not giving me.
Well, everyone. I just don't think we have any reason to disapprove it. I think it comes before us because did they take the proper steps? That's what we're saying for any
I agree with that.
any possible flag.
On that note, why don't we jump to public comment? Thank you.
Jan Guffey, followed by Alicia and Edwin.
Hi, I'm Jan Guffey, and as I emailed you all this morning, I said, my faith teaches me to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. 2024 Gallup poll found that 9.3% of all U.S. adults identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or something other than straight or homosexual. That means that of the 60,000 people here in Gilroy, about 5,000 of us might identify as the above. Being gay, lesbian, transgender, etc. is not a lifestyle choice. So let's honor the inherent worth and dignity of all of us and fly the pride flag every year. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, Mayor and council members. My name is Alicia, and I'm here to ask the Gilroy City Council and the Mayor to please raise the pride flag here in Gilroy. It's very imperative that this be done. My background is I was raised a strict Christian, and I was taught that it was wrong to be part of the LGBTQ plus community. And as I grew older, I learned that was incorrect. And I've gotten a lot of friends from that community. I'm a straight ally, and I love everybody equally. The LGBTQ plus community is marginalized and has faced much violence, threats, and ostracism. A lot of people in the queer community fear speaking up for their rights because of possible retaliation. A lot of LGBTQ youth feel a lot of hope when they see their communities show their support for them. A lot of them are bullied for the way they are, and many, unfortunately, commit suicide. And if any of you have children or any nieces or nephews, that's very devastating. Nobody, especially youths, shouldn't feel like, they want to end their life because of who they are. And nobody should treat them like garbage because of who they are. So it's beautiful that the city of Gilroy last year had a wonderful Pride Parade, the first Pride Parade in Gilroy. That was wonderful. And to have the Pride flag flying once a year is very appropriate. And it will show the community, the people who live in Gilroy community, that they are loved and supported. And all of us should feel like that and feel safe in the communities and loved in the communities in which we live. Thank you.
Good evening, council members and mayor. My name is Edwin, and I come here not as a voting adult, but as a student here in Gilroy. I go to Gilroy High School. And in the last week, I ran a student-led survey that was completely anonymous between the three schools that I have access to, Gilroy High School, GECA, and Christopher High School. And what I found is that an overwhelming majority of students, over 90%, supported the raising of the flag here on Gilroy City Hall's location, and which is a very stark contrast to the 81% who have witnessed or experienced discrimination based off their sexual or gender identity. And as a student, I have many friends who either belong to the LGBTQ community or have had friends who have had lost friends due to the discrimination that they face, not just from their peers, but from the community around them, especially in a city like Gilroy, which has a very strong conservative majority sometimes. And I want all this to say that 81% of students here in Gilroy answered that they trust school staff in being prepared and being willing to support the LGBTQ youth. And as students, we grow up to the city, and we grow up in the city, and we want to have our voices heard. We don't want to feel like we're ignored. If we have such a high trust in our staff, we also want to trust that our city council, and our city government will be publicly supportive of these communities which have faced discrimination every single day. If you go to any school, you can ask, and many will say they view discrimination, they've experienced discrimination. And my final message, just as a student, as someone who grew up here in Gilroy, I want to say that this is a very important thing for many of us. And because we are not 18, because we cannot vote, it is very hard for some of us sometimes to express these things. And I want to say thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.
Anne-Marie McCulley, followed by Giselle and Terry Hernandez.
Some of you may be in favor of the flag because you support the LGBTQ community. Others may agree with the city policy in general, with the type of flag being irrelevant. It should be noted that the 150 signature requirement has been met, and the city policy as it stands allows for the flag as it did last year. Some of you may vote in favor because the requirements are met and the policy should be upheld despite your personal opinion on the flag. Last June, when the flag was raised, nothing bad happened. No one was divided. No one was forced into a lifestyle they chose not to live. No children were negatively influenced, and there was no violence caused by its presence. If the American flag is unable to make all Americans feel included, it should be the primary goal of elects to ensure that it does. Raising this flag could help that until we can achieve that goal. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Giselle Molina. I am a student at Gilroy High. The importance of raising the LGBTQ flag is incredibly monumental for a lot of teen youth. I identify as queer, and honestly, I am a new resident to California, to Gilroy in specific, and I've never seen so many LGBTQ members be so afraid to express who they are, whether it be sexuality or gender. And I come from a city where everyone is accepted as they are. Yes, there is divisions, but at the end of the day, everyone should be free to express themselves. And in a federal government that is trying to take away our rights as queer individuals, I feel like Gilroy City Hall should raise the flag regardless of personal opinions, because we are all people. We are all the people of the United States. And as such, we should be able to at least count on our city council to support us, even in a government that will not and is actively trying to take away our rights. Thank you very much.
Terry?
Good evening, once again, Honorable Mayor Bozo and Honorable Council members. My name is Terry Hernandez. I am the president of Pride Social South County, LGBT nonprofit that represents Gilroy, San Martin, and Morgan Hill. I am also an MSW social worker, having worked in hospice, pediatric hospice, and home health. I come here to remind all of you that our nonprofit helped organize and fundraise the over $500 that's required to pay in order for the flag to be raised. We also helped organize the community to obtain the 150 signatures, and we met that requirement, and we thank you that in June it was raised. But we also, since we met the requirements, we also ask that you please honor your side as well. Postponing it is unfair. We came here prepared. You ask of us to meet all the requirements, and we ask of you to please honor that. We have higher rates of harassment, as you're hearing the young people speak of, and we do have volunteers that are young that are coming to us, and they're telling us they're getting harassed. So I hope that you take that into consideration. We also want to let you know that our organization participated in the Gilroy Veterans Day Parade. We have veterans that are in our nonprofit that are LGBT and members of the military. So you're asking, you want the flag, the U.S. flag and the pride flag divided up. Are you going to ask that veteran to divide themselves up? That is one whole U.S. American, and they happen to be LGBT. Please honor them. Thank you.
Augustine Alvarez, followed by Ron Kirkish.
Hello, City Council, Honorable Mayor and Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I stand before you for the young lives we have lost, beautiful LGBTQ plus youths whose futures were stolen by homophobia, transphobia, and hate. Their names must be spoken because their story reminds us of what silence cost us. Fred Martinez Jr., 16, Gwen Arijo, 17, Sakea Gunn, 15, Arthur Warren, 18, Charlie Howard, 14, Lawrence King, 15, Simi Williams Jr., 17, Dwayne Jones, 16, Alejandre Rajo, 14, Briella Stone, 17, Next Benedict, 16, Brandon Tenna, 21, Matthew Shepard, 21. Each of them was a child of community, someone's daughter, someone's son, siblings, or friend. Each of them deserved safety, dignity, and a chance to grow up. Their lives were cut short by intolerance and violence that no young person should ever endure. Today's LGBT youth continues to face these dangers. They experience 50% more bullying and harassment than their peers. 29% reported being threatened with physical violence, and 90% report verbal harassment. Nearly 45% of LGBT youth seriously consider suicide, and that number climbs to over half for transgender and non-binary youth. LGBT people are 9 times more likely to experience violent hate crimes, and 1 in 10 hate crimes incidents against LGBT youth end in fatality. This is not just numbers. These are warnings. These are reminders, and they're a call to action. Raising the pride flag in Gilroy is not symbolic for symbolism's sake. It is a message, a lifeline to the LGBTQ youth who are watching their community closely and wondering if they truly belong. Raising the flag tells them you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, you are safe. I urge this council to take these simple, life-affirming steps. Let us show our LGBT youth that Gilroy stands for them, supports them, and refuses to turn away, because Gilroy Strong is Gilroy for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be the lone voice tonight. You're right. It is a divisive issue, Mayor Bozo. It's very divisive. We have a very divisive country today. Dangerous country, some think. And the LGBTQ issue is one of those divisive issues. I originally felt the same way that I do today, that we should not be flying another flag other than the state and the city and the American flag on our city flagpole. If we want to find another place to do it, that would be fine. But we cannot have something on our city flagpole that divides our community because our country is divided, and we need to bring things together, not divide it more. So it's my opinion, and I hope it's some of your opinions too, that the only flag that should fly on our city flagpole is the American flag, the state flag, and the city flag. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
All right, let's bring it back to council. First person up is Zach Hilton.
Thank you. So in 2021, we made city history by being the first Gilroy City Council to recognize June as LGBTQ Pride Month, raising of the pride flag at Gilroy City Hall, which showed the region and the world that one small step, Gilroy is moving forward. Each June since, we have raised a progressive pride flag. One of the purposes behind raising the flag is to heighten awareness of the LGBTQ Pride Month, as well as celebrate diversity, equity, social justice, and inclusion. Gilroy Unified School District made history by raising the first progressive pride flag at their district office in 2024, and beginning this year in 2025, they raised them at district facilities. We led this effort. Many community members came to recognize the historic occasion in 2021, and we were joined by our local, state, and congressional electeds who presented a joint resolution into the congressional record. In our packets, you'll still see the continued support from them in the community who showed up tonight. Today, you can find year-round support and pride for the LGBTQ plus members of our community from our local public library, schools, nonprofits, county Office of Education. We made history by having our first Pride Festival in the Civic Center right outside these chambers. All were welcomed to the free, family-friendly festival featuring local vendors, resource booths, food, music, performances, and celebration. All children should be able to attend school in a safe and inclusive environment free from discrimination. Civil rights laws and California Education Code Section 200 to 220 contribute to such environments. The lack of awareness and understanding of issues facing the LGBTQ plus children and youth have contributed to higher rates of school dropout, academic failure, suicide, and school disengagement. Education regarding LGBTQ plus issues increases understanding, cultivates respect for the LGBTQ students, and cultivates a culture of allyship. Thank you, and with that, I'd be happy to make a motion to approve this item when we're ready.
Any comments? Okay, I'll entertain that motion.
So, motion to approve the commemorative flag flying application for the progressive pride flag.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
No.
Councilmember Klein?
No.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 5-2. Moving on to item 6.2, consideration of options and recommendations for meeting state-mandated stormwater trash capture requirements. Staff report, please.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor, council members, and community. John Dowdy, Public Works Director. Tonight, here to present report on the state-mandated stormwater trash capture requirements. With me is Mark Johnson, our Environmental Programs Manager, and Nish Patel, our City Engineer. The request before you tonight is really two pieces. One, to hopefully provide direction to staff on the issue of meeting the 30% trash capture requirement, which is due December 2nd, 2026. And secondly, to give some direction on how you wish to proceed with meeting subsequent 65% and 100% trash capture requirements, which occur in December 2nd, 2028 and December 2nd, 2030. I will say that right off the bat that this is a struggle for us. It's a struggle for staff. We understand from last January conversation that this was a struggle for this council to grasp in terms of why we're doing this and what the obligations and the commitments are. What I can say is that whether we like it or not, this is what we're obligated by the state to do. And I will say right up front that this agency, the Central Coast Water Board, basically, as every water board across the state has the authority to fine $10,000 a day for each and every violation, and unfortunately, or in my opinion, they have chosen to do so at times, and that is the ramifications of not complying with this. So I am approaching this with the perspective that there has to be a solution with this, but obviously there is always an alternative to that. So again, this was established, these requirements were established in 2015. The city is an MS4 permittee, and certainly that applies in this conditions and what we're going to talk about. And what this requires is 100% compliance and full trash capture for priority land use areas by 2030. Basically, this is intended to maintain and manage and keep trash litter from reaching creeks, rivers, wetlands, and bays. I think is an honorable goal, but difficult to accomplish and difficult to pay for when the requirements come with no funding attached to it, which is often the case from state mandates. So what we are ultimately looking at is two options that exist for the city, which is a track one option discussed in the staff report. I'm not going to go into great detail with that. We can certainly answer any questions you have, but basically full capture means that we install some form of capture device. They vary. We provided you some examples of that within the report. Those are certified by the water board and therefore guarantee basically compliance with the requirements provided we maintain them. So frankly, they assume that they are 100% effective and they don't argue about that as long as we put them in and we maintain them. There is, as indicated, an ongoing obligation for that maintenance, and that there is a cost associated with that, no doubt. The second piece of this is track two, which is the full capture equivalency, which is basically develop a plan, identify how you're going to address dealing with the litter, reaching the creeks and streams and wetlands, and frankly hope that it works to some extent, and then evaluate that, and then prove that it is working and go through kind of a cycle that can be as much as annually kind of doing that process and dealing with that. As noted here, you can combine this option with a track one systems, and the biggest challenge to this is one is the equivalency. You have to basically establish that the program will reach the same equivalency of removal as the devices themselves. And the second piece of this is that the water board basically says is that track two really, in our instance, should only be used where it's financially infeasible to follow track one options. Question was raised, and we did look into Caltrans. Caltrans operates under track two program, but I'll say their program and their guidance document basically from the state says you will still use track one improvements where possible, and that is still the under their guidance the preferred option, but they have the option to pursue non-track one where they just can't seem to make it work and deal with it. And again, I think it's good to have the track two, something we can look at. Again, this started in 2015. This came out of the Clean Water Act, which then evolved into compliance through the state water boards, the water board, and then the regional water boards, and ultimately resulted in the rules that we're sitting with. And again, those are December 2nd, 2026, the 2028, and the 2030. Don't want to belabor this, but it is a reality of where we're sitting. The Track 1 full capture systems, I think we covered this well in the staff report itself, but basically deal with capturing 5 millimeter or larger pieces of litter and garbage. And ultimately, one of the key pieces of this is they do have to be maintained at least twice a year and monitored. So again, there is that cost. During the January hearing, there was definitely conversation about could we implement these through these efforts through the outfall netting. We have certainly looked at this in greater detail. We appreciate the seeming efficiency and effectiveness of trying to collect at the end of the pipe, and would love to be able to come to you tonight and say we think this is the solution. Unfortunately, we just can't do that tonight. One of those being is that there are very few certified systems that have been approved by the Water Board, 3, I believe, in total at this point. And we have outfalls of great varying nature, including something that looks a little like this, which is out on the east side. And I don't put this out here as a joke or anything with it. This is just what you're looking at now. I would say this is pretty hard to have outfall and a release of water out of submerged pipe, and that's a whole other issue. But the fact is that with that outfall netting requirement comes the requirement to get the permits from the folks who deal with wetlands, endangered species, and basically covering any boot that goes in that wet area is potentially subject to significant permitting requirements. So those are issues. Simply put, something of this nature is just not something that you can easily and readily put into the outfall pipe. This is a sweet looking deal for brand new construction, and certainly if we look at new construction of outfalls, we should look at the end outfall netting options, certainly with that. But there are also maintenance challenges and issues with that. And again, if you look at this and you try to figure out how, if this wasn't submerged, how do you access the netting? You would have to have a boom crane and go out and deal with that. So that's the challenge. We have at least, at this point, somewhere around 47 or so outfall points that we've believe exist, maybe more, maybe a few less, but a lot of these. So we're talking about multitudes of these. So that was our analysis ultimately. Hydrodynamic separators, again, these are pretty nifty. They also come with a high price tag, and these are sort of the state of the art. Morgan Hill is proceeding with several $1 million worth of hydrodynamic separators. Their their drainage area is a little different issue for them, smaller area, and they put forth, I believe, some funding options out a few years ago in advance of some of this, and so that's what they're working with. And again, we don't believe that this is an option that even remotely is available to us in the phase 1 approach, or basically the 30%, but something to consider as we look at. But again, there is a significant cost, but they are very easy to maintain and very effective. This is where we've been. This is where we came in January with this simple, rather ugly but simple design, which is basically a mesh, steel mesh that allows the water to flow through, captures the materials in there that we want, the trash, debris. Yes, it also tends to capture other things. We understand that, and that was part of a conversation that occurred in January. This does mean that we have to maintain these, just like many things that we have to maintain and deal with. The beauty of of this is simplicity, ease of repair, maintenance. These can actually be removed, slid out, unbolted, and moved to other sites if we find that these aren't actually working well in these locations for whatever reason, or they're not capturing anything. They can be moved, so they're not a loss if we drop them in there and have to move them around from that perspective with it. But that is what is ultimately being recommended for phase 1, or the 30% piece. Track 2, again, don't have to go through this in great detail. We've kind of covered that, but there's a lot that goes into it. And we are mostly concerned with, on the 30% side, is not having enough time to develop this kind of program. But we're also concerned moving down the road in terms of just what the cost would be and just the unknowns. I think the more important unknown is just how closely will the water board seek compliance on it and take actions if we're not being effective from that perspective. So there's concerns. I have a little video here that's short and pretty self-explanatory.
In this assessment, the site is completely or nearly completely free of litter. One person is able to pick up any litter if present while conducting the assessment without needing to slow down. No additional measures are needed to classify this site as full capture equivalent.
So this is a community that is operating under Track 2. So they've done an excellent job. Compliance is in order here, and that's a good thing. The concern is more as we look at...
In this assessment, the site is completely, nearly complete.
Is the next one, which is where reality hits the road, frankly.
An example of a B category assessment site. A majority of the site is free of trash except for a few littered areas noticeable at first glance. The trash observed could be collected by 1 or 2 individuals walking at a slower than normal pace. Additional trash reduction measures are needed in the assessment area.
So the key to that conversation, if you caught it, is that additional work is needed. That is very high standard, and that is the concern that we get when we start looking at Track 2, because that's what can happen if we're not successful, as they say, this isn't working. If you use Track 1, even if this is the end result that we're getting, which we'd like to see clean streets, I know. We deal with that on a day-to-day basis. But I'd like to do that because it's the right thing to do, but on our terms and under conditions and whatever programs we determine appropriate, rather than by under threat with compliance and legal issues from another agency of the state, frankly. And that's the challenge on that one with that, and why we're also struggling with that. So again, the recommendation tonight is 2-part. One, to look at the 30% capture requirement. Tonight we are here to basically recommend that we proceed with the 73 connector pipe screens, the CPS, whatever you've seen there, and come back basically with an award of that to hit the 30%. We are again on a very tight timeline. That's the basket. And this is really the only pathway that we see to get done by December of 2026. Now, I am sorry that we're here at this point. I wish we could have gotten here earlier. We maybe should have gotten here a little earlier than this, but I think we would be at exactly the same point. The decision was made in 2017. I don't believe any of you were here struggling through this at that point. And even if you were, that was a very different issue at the time and understanding when choices were made at that point, and this is where we sit. To meet the subsequent 65% and 100% requirement, we are suggesting and recommending that we do at least a functional and financial feasibility of the hydrodynamic separators. We've looked at it. We believe we're going to need at least 12 to 16 of those units, and they range in price depending on the size of the drainage area. They can reach from the tens of thousands to the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and without that feasibility analysis, we don't know exactly what we're looking at. Again, finding that hydrodynamic separators are just infeasible, they can be physically or financially. We can develop a Track 2 compliance program. This does not preclude us from also going back and looking at the same types of units that we use to get to the 30% to reach this, or any combination of factors with that. Fiscal, as we've noted, funding for at least phase one, the 73 would come out of 422, the Stormwater Management Fund, which is basically funded through the post-construction best management practices and comes from private development ultimately. And that is right about $800,000 balanced as we sit tonight. So there's adequate funding there and adequate funding to move forward in the future with some additional improvements and issues, but certainly nowhere near the need to cover maybe millions of dollars in toward the hydrodynamic separators. And again, the alternatives were laid out in the staff memo, and I think I won't touch on those unless you wish to go into that detail. But I'll let you come back to those and fight through that. So that leaves us at questions.
All right, I have 3 council members on the board. Carol.
Mine's not working, so I'll be up there.
Okay, you got it. I'll go Marks, Ramirez, Hilton, and then Fugazi.
All right, John, I have a couple of comments and I have a couple of questions. I understand that, it's protecting our creeks and our rivers, and I understand that the garbage on the street is supposed to go into the storm drain and get caught by the basket, right? Here's my question. That's only going to work when it's raining, correct? Because in the summertime and spring, when it's not raining, that garbage is going to sit there, and how is it going to get into the storm drain from the gutter?
Thank you for asking that.
Did you wonder that too? And it's not you that came up with it. It's whoever dreamt this.
It's in the staff report. I will say a key component to this effort is also street sweeping. So we do once a week in the commercial industrial areas, and we do twice a week in the residential areas. And that's a critical piece to the MS4 permit as well. So they go hand in glove in that work.
We proposed this a while ago in a discussion with City, a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do something with getting the cars off the street so the street sweeper can sweep those streets. Just like San Jose and San Francisco, they tow you, they ticket you. They make the public realize what days are coming through, and we would have to impose a similar project because if all the cars are still there, you're defeating the purpose. My biggest concern with this is that with the amount of garbage that's going to go into the basket, twice a year just doesn't seem practical. To me, you're going to have to be doing it a lot more often, or you're going to have flooding in those areas, correct? Around where these drain pipes are?
When the basket gets full, it just goes over the top.
Okay.
They are, thank you. They are designed to basically overflow and go out and not stop up everything with that deal.
That would still allow for a lot of the garbage to go through, too.
But it meets the criteria. That's
yeah, I know, but
it's imperfect. It's imperfect.
Let me, if I could just point out, and I apologize, this map is not fabulous, but you don't need to see the detail on this. But this is a map of the city. These show the colored areas. The colored areas show basically where your priority land use areas. Our requirements fall within the priority land use areas, only the areas colored, which are the commercial industrial, which are the high generators of garbage and litter. I think the key component to this is that over time, I think there's been miscommunication by staff in terms of where this applies to, what's going on, and I'll assume that in part because I know there's a lot of concerns about the leaves, and I know, just being around this area. The good news is that this is not an area that would be subject to and require these types of capture devices, which would not then create the problem. So a lot of that issue, you're talking about the east side in areas, particularly the far east side, First Street, where you don't have the same type of canopy and same type of trees. Yes, there are leaves. Yes, there are things that occur there, but we're not talking about placing these in all the neighborhoods around where we have these wonderful, majestic street trees. So I think that's the first and foremost piece that's important. First time coming through this, I didn't fully understand that and realize that. When I started looking at this, it became more of an obvious thing for me that said, I know part of the concerns were about the leaves and everything. I would say that critically with the leaves themselves, we talked about this, but a regenerative street cleaner is something that we should be looking at in the future. Which basically is a vacuum rather than the wheels that go around and cleans the street. We actually need something to vacuum up the leaves and the trash and litter out there and everything with that deal. Not a small cost, but I think something we should look at. Right now, our operations streets team goes out and hand picks up the piles of leaves from neighborhoods. I'm sure you see them doing this. When they're piled up, and I'm sure those piles blow around and no longer become piles often around, but it is unwieldy and a lot of time consumption in that. So those are very big pieces to this effort, I think, as well.
Let's go to the next question by Councilmember Ramirez.
Thank you. So Councilmember Marks asked one of the questions that I had, but I just want to go over a couple of things. Thank you for pointing out it's another unfunded state mandate. The violations, $10,000 per day per violation. Does that mean it's $10,000 per day per identified storm drain? Or is it just kind of the city of Gilroy is out of compliance, so it's $10,000 per day?
I will say it's a little like our own ordinance, which says whatever X dollars for an administrative fine, and it leaves some flexibility for the party to decide what that entails. Taken to the limit, they could choose to go a path to say you have you failed to put in 500 of these trash capture devices. You've done whatever with that deal, and that's 500 violations times $10,000 times per day. I think that would be excessive, and I don't believe that they would actually ever do that. But in theory, that's there's a lot of flexibility in that. What they will do first to a local agency like us is they will put us on a compliance schedule. They won't usually attack us first with fines.
Okay.
Their intention, like the city's code enforcement, is to obtain compliance. And so going after the pocketbook is not normally the first path. They will set us on a compliance schedule, ask us, and give us a very tight timeline for meeting these obligations, and they won't care how much it costs and what it takes to get there and deal with that. That's my statement to that. But basically, they will then approach, I believe, the fines as a second piece to that compliance schedule and process.
Okay, so and if I understand you correctly, the track two, and I read this in the report as well, but in terms of how is it determined? So we determine, or the state agency determines whether we're in compliance, whether...
Okay. So ultimately, we end up paying a consultant to come in and help us develop a plan. They develop they assess what our trash development, figure is, or whatever width is,
How
to
much
look at
trash
where
we
it's
have.
coming from, how, characterize it, where it's coming from, what type of trash, what's happening, and look at various areas. And then they will basically help us develop a series of processes, procedures, programs to basically eliminate those. Part of that could be where we develop something that is more focused on private developer of private site trash assistance with this. Something that we think, is not a negative. Because what we're stuck with is what we get as the end of the point is litter reaches the street. And then we're responsible for it. So in a perfect world, you would stop the litter from ever reaching the street, therefore reducing our obligations and requirements. But that's a significant undertaking. That would apply, a new program, significant efforts, and significant challenges to basically get compliance from private property owners who are probably already yelling about too much regulation and being forced to do some of these things. So the easiest path that most people choose is to let it get to the street and then deal with it as a public piece to that deal. So there's two ways. But what that also requires, and I'm sorry, I know it's a bit long and I don't want to do that, but we have to then analyze and evaluate those at least annually and see if we're being successful. And then we have to look at evaluating and coming up with new programs if it's not successful.
Based on a consultant's determination of what success is.
Based on what the water board's assessment ultimately is, which is basically, the video B, where it said, there's a few pieces
very subjective.
of trash. Very subjective. Yes.
Okay. One last question. The outfall netting, you talked about, you needed permits, wetland permits, and this and that. These permits, are they from state departments that are, another state department is requiring us to do this, but then if we needed to do it, we'd need.
It's basically these permits would come from. Some call them the alphabet mafia. Some call them just the alphabet soup of regulatory agencies. They include both federal and state agencies. So it's not just an issue of the state.
Okay.
It is also an issue can be from Army Corps of Engineers, which is federal. State also has Fish and Wildlife. Federal has Fish and Wildlife. So it can be any number of folks out there, as well as other folks that deal with steelhead and salmon and different things of that nature around. So there's just an alphabet soup of regulatory agencies that could stick their fingers in this.
All right, Councilmember Klein, and then Councilmember Fugati.
Hilton.
Excuse me, Hilton.
Just a quick question about the funding. So you mentioned the Private Development Fund 422 will fund this. Do you see that as being used to, when we have to replace them or add new ones? Do you see that fund being used to fund this, or is this something that we can condition on developments that come in when they do, the upgrades to the street or that kind of stuff? Would you condition it in there?
The 422 comes from new development, from that. So as long as we continue to have commercial, industrial new development there, we do capture some funding from that, which is intended to basically help cover these costs and these processes. So there is a private sector involvement in this. We certainly may need to look at that fee and start to evaluate whether that's sufficient. But there's obviously the nexus question about any fee, but we can certainly analyze and deal with that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the consultant to find out whether this is something like, don't give this up to the developers to do. It's so important that just have them pay into the fee for it and continue using that fee. So we have the ownership of knowing it. Thank you.
But it's a one-time. The challenge of this is like any kind of impact. It's not necessarily an impact fee, but it's similar to it's a one-time only. It doesn't continue on, and that's the challenge.
Councilmember Fugati.
First of all, I want to commend you and your department on creating a great staff report on this. When it came to us in January, you were new here, and it was woefully inadequate in comparison to what I've seen in here, and did not address many of these things that you've put in here. And it's really what I was looking for then, and very helpful now for us to make a much more educated decision on what we want to do for the city. So thank you for that. First question, since you have the map up, you mentioned that we only have to do it in these areas. Is that only for the 30% or for the 100%?
100%.
Okay. So only in those areas for the 100%. That means even when we go to track 2, it's only in those areas that we have to under track 2.
Correct.
As far as our helping them determine, am I correct in saying that there's software available where we self kind of report on this? I've seen in Watsonville and other areas where staff actually can do a walk and they take pictures and it goes into the software, and that's what the Water Resource Board actually uses to help make their determination.
There is technology available, yes.
And it also, in the track 2, enables us, especially if we don't use the separators or whatever you called them, to have a cleaner city, I would say, because you actually have to go out and get trash. So there is a nice byproduct to that in that sense. The sites that you chose for the 30%, you spread them all around kind of the city, including up in Gilroy Gardens and whatnot, but we don't have to equally distribute them among those areas, do we? We just have to do 30% of all the sites.
There were, as I understand it, and I can bring Mark up, but those were chosen because they got us basically to the 30%. They were the easiest areas that were within the priority land use areas, had the high trash litter levels, and basically were got us to the 30%.
They had higher trash levels?
Well, they were among the highest of the trash levels and everything, but they basically got us to the 30% threshold.
Because a lot of them are over in McCarthy, was it McCarthy Park or area, that area? And anyway, so the question that we can't just stick them all in one area or whatever, we have to kind of distribute them out, or, I mean, wouldn't we want to put them in the areas where we get the least amount of trash? Then we don't have to worry about the smell as much?
Maybe I'm...
Least amount of leaves and least amount of trash? Sorry, am I saying the obvious?
So the reason why we chose these areas is because we were able to get the largest area with the least amount of devices.
Okay.
So if we go to other areas, we're going to have to get more devices to get 30% coverage. So it's 30% coverage of our entire priority land use area. So in this first phase, we said, we can put the least amount of devices in these areas to cover the greatest area.
So to make sure I got this clear, you're basically saying before we needed, 400 or 3,000 of these, or however the number is, it's not 30% of how many we need overall in the city, it's 30% of this land use area. Okay, that makes it much more clear. Thank you on that question. So you said something about Morgan Hill getting a different funding or something for this. Can you elaborate on theirs? Were they getting some grant funding or something to help pay for their separators?
They paid for it through a rate increase with their franchise agreement for Recology. So basically, the ratepayers for solid waste ended up paying for it because they tagged on the cost for installing these into their cost for solid waste. So when
did they do that?
They did that a couple of years ago, and they used to buy a Vector, and they used it to buy like a pickup truck for a staff person to go around cleaning these things out.
Okay, excellent. Does the water board do compliance on the collection systems? So if we were to go out and clean them twice a year, but then really they needed cleaning 8 times a year and they're overflowing for half the year, are they going to find out and fine us because we're not doing what we're supposed to do?
We have to document everything we're doing. So we're obligated to 2 times minimum. We also have to evaluate, review them and look at them and clean them out if they are overflowing and dealing with that. In theory, they could spot check, but they're also going to check what our self-reporting is. But they could spot check and identify problems and issues.
Okay, and last, and I know everybody's happy for the last, the separators / track 2 determining thing. I kind of sense there that we're going to be looking at the separators, and then if those don't work out, we're then going to be looking at the track 2 option. Do those things happen in parallel so that we don't get up against another deadline and then go, well, we're up against a deadline, we don't have time to do track 2 now?
I think there's something to be said about doing that, and that was the objective that in that alternative, which to say, let's continue to take a look at the track 2 options, but at least let's evaluate what we could do for the hydrodynamic separators. And one of those is a financial plan, which could have us coming back and talking about the recology options and other options that are out there and deal with that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, further questions for staff? Let's go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Did you get back on the board?
I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to respond about the recology thing. I think we are in current contract with them, though, for like a 10-year contract or something, so I'm not even sure if we'd be able to.
We have under our agreement special circumstances. I know that it's called something else, but basically special circumstances to increase rates. There's limits to that, but to what the purposes are in dealing with that. So there is something that we can look at and at least evaluate that. I think there's also just some concerns a little bit about nexus, and we certainly want to make sure that we're clear sort of on what we're doing and dealing with it. But I think we do have capacity within the franchise agreement to come back and review that.
Thank you.
One last comment. Just want to say that there are other cities in this area that are doing track 2. Whether or not they're successful, some of them I think are successful. Other ones are having some challenges, and I really want to stress that we don't make this so we kick the can down the road and all of a sudden it's 70%, the 65% that's left. Oh yeah, we're going to do trash collection again. That's all I got to say about that.
Can I say one correction for you? I started in March, so I wasn't here in January.
That's why.
Yeah. So just be clear.
I have a comment. I have a comment about the track 2 as well. The reason why I think it's important that we pursue track 2 as well to see if it can work is that the hydro separators get the trash after our city's been dirty. Right, and the track 2 puts us in a proactive mode, and I think that's very important that we pursue.
Mayor, could I make one comment?
Sure.
I know one of the cities locally, Watsonville, has done working on track 2. What I can say, because I was there when they developed much of their environmental programming through their utilities, and because they're full service, they even do their solid waste with it, so they control everything about it, about everything there. But they, 20 years ago, developed a very robust system. They're reaping the rewards from that, and that included a lot of staffing, a lot of dollars, and everything attached to it that we're coming from way behind on. So that I have to say, just from my experience and knowledge there, different place, different time, different thing. So.
Okay, it feels like we have a consensus, so I'm going to entertain a motion to prepare and advertise a request for a proposal for the fabrication and installation of 73 connector pipe screens to meet the city's December 2026 30% MS4 trash capture mandate, and in conjunction with the bid award, return to the City Council with a budget amendment to add the connector pipe screen project into the fiscal year 26 capital budget with funding from Stormwater Management Fund. Can I get some help? Motions? Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second by Councilmember Hilton. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. And to be clear on the direction that we're giving staff is that it looks like we would like a parallel path. As we're looking into the hydro separators, we would also like to be on the track of the track 2, excuse me. Is that good enough direction? All right, thank you very much. We will take a 10-minute break and be back at 8:30. Thank you.
Yeah, 10-minute break.
Did you get some?
I tell you, five.
It's like a kid, like, oh
What you guys were talking about? We were trying to get it. Okay, we're starting. We are moving on. Item 6.3, mayoral appointments of council members to serve in regional representative seats and seats on local boards and committees. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and members of the community. In addition to their duties on city council, council members also serve as regional representative seats and on local boards and committees. As a part of the annual update process, Mayor Bozo has reviewed the current list of council appointments to these regional and local bodies. Based on this review, he's recommending changes to the appointments as detailed in the staff report. Tonight, the recommendation is that council approve representative seat assignments as determined by Mayor Bozo per California Government Code Section 40605. That concludes my report, and I'm available for questions.
Questions for staff? Are there questions? No questions. All right. Public comment?
I have
no public comment. Okay, I'm going to bring it back and entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Who was first? Sorry. I think.
Fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We didn't even hear you. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go with Councilmember Fugazi with a second by Councilmember Marks. Mayoral appointments of council members to serve in regional representatives seats and seats on local boards and committees. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks? Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Mayor, just a quick question.
Yep.
Will you be giving us the information about like where they meet and when they meet? And
Yes.
Some of that was in there, but not all of it.
Yes, I can give that to you. And any of the new boards that you're sitting on, I can definitely sit down with. Yes.
Moving on to item 6.4, appointment of Councilmember Zach Hilton to the position of Mayor Pro Tempore for 2026. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. So the role of Mayor Pro Tem is to serve in a leadership role in the absence of the mayor. Per the Gilroy City Charter, at the first meeting of the City Council following the election and appointment of a member to the council shall elect one of its members as Mayor Pro Tempore, who shall act as mayor during the absence or inability of the mayor to act. In 2018, it was decided that the council has the authority to elect a mayor pro tempore when it desires to do so, and that the council can determine the length of time that the mayor pro tempore will serve in that capacity. The only charter restriction is the requirement to elect a mayor pro tempore following the election or appointment of a new council member. So therefore, at this time, Mayor Bozo is recommending that council member Zach Hilton be selected to serve as the mayor pro tempore for the calendar year of 2026. That concludes my report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Questions? No questions? Public comment?
No speakers.
Nope. No public comment. I'll entertain a motion to appointment of Council Member Zach Hilton to the position of Mayor Pro Tempore for 2026.
A motion?
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Bracco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez? Yes. Mayor Bozo?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6.5, consent, the appointment of Scott Smithy, a CalPERS retired annuitant, as the interim police chief following successful completion of all police officer standards and training, hiring requirements, and adoption of a resolution approving the appointment and employment agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, I'll be taking the next three items. There you go. We've had quite a bit of transition occurring this year, and we have three more. I'm requesting the appointment of Scott Smithy as the interim police chief. This appointment is necessary due to the quick departure of interim police chief Ken Binder, who, as you all know, recently was appointed as the San Mateo County Sheriff. Scott Smithy retired from the position of Gilroy police chief effective June 1st, 2020. As most of you know, Chief Smithy retired in 2015 from the position of police captain, later came out of retirement in 2017 to serve as Gilroy's police chief. He also served as interim fire department director prior to the hiring of Fire Chief Philippe. Mr. Smithy has agreed to return again to serve as interim police chief while the city completes the recruitment for a new chief. The interim chief will serve until the Gilroy City Administrator, the new Gilroy City Administrator, selects a police chief. Currently, it's estimated that a new city administrator will be appointed in January. One of the first significant decisions of the new city administrator will be to select and recommend the appointment of the police chief. Police recruitment process is underway. I am therefore requesting the council approve his appointment. Thank you.
Questions for Brad? No questions for Brad. Possible public comment?
Yes, Ron Kirkish.
Okay. Take it away, Ron.
Thank you. I highly recommend, and I'm pretty sure most of you will approve this, but I highly recommend Chief Smithy. He's done a wonderful job for our city over many years, and I'm really, really happy to see him slide back into that position, even if it's interim. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I have no further speakers.
Okay, any chance to last? Motion to approve. Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second by Councilmember Marks. Bear with me here, this is a long one. Consent the city administrator's recommendation to appoint Scott Smithy, CalPERS retired annuitant, as the interim police chief effective upon successful completion of all peace officer standards and training, hiring requirements, and adopt a resolution of the city of Gilroy to City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the appointment of Scott Smithy, a CalPERS retired annuitant, as interim police chief pursuant to Government Code Section 21221H, and authorizing the city administrator to execute the employment agreement to include setting the employment date following successful completion of all post-hiring requirements. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez? Yes. Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item 6.6, consent the appointment of Carl Biarchi, CalPERS retired annuitant, as interim utilities director effective December 23rd, 2025, and adoption of a resolution approving the appointment and employment agreement. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, I'm requesting the appointment of Carl Biarchi as the interim utilities director due to the recent announcement by Heath McCone of his retirement, which will be effective on December 30th of this year. This appointment is necessary to ensure the continuity in the leadership and management of the department. The city plans to commence a recruitment for the utilities director prior to his retirement date. Mr. Biarchi has over 28 years of related municipal experience. He served the city of Morgan Hill for over 15 years, most recently in the capacity of Public Works Director. He has significant experience in the areas of water and wastewater, including holding a State of California Professional Engineer's license. Mr. Biarchi also previously served as Gilroy's interim Public Works Director on 2 occasions when the position was vacant and under recruitment. I'm requesting the council approve this appointment. Thank you.
Questions for staff? None? Public comment?
I have no speakers.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I so move.
I have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez.
A second.
And a second by Councilmember Klein.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Sure.
Turn and read it.
Go ahead.
So it'd be the city administrator's recommendation to appoint Carl Biarchi. My first move.
Yeah.
CalPERS retired annuitant as interim utilities director effective December 23rd, 2025. Adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the appointment of Carl Biarchi, CalPERS retired annuitant as interim utilities director effective December 23, 2025, pursuant to Government Code Section 2122IH, and authorizing the city administrator to execute the employment agreement.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Item 6.7, consent the appointment of Leanne McPhillips, CalPERS retired annuitant as of December 31st, 2025, as the interim administrative services and human resources director, risk manager, effective December 31st, 2025, and adoption of a resolution approving the appointment and employment agreement and waiving the 180-day wait period for post-retirement employment. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm requesting the appointment of Leanne McPhillips as the interim administrative service and human resource director effective December 31st, 2025. After over 26 years with the city of Gilroy, Leanne has elected to retire at the end of this year. With this retirement, the city of Gilroy will have a vacancy in her current position. The city is in the process of commencing a recruitment for the new director position and will do so prior to her retirement date. At my request, Leanne agreed to continue in an interim capacity while the recruitment process is being conducted. I feel that given that she has been serving in this capacity for many years and has significant institutional knowledge, it will be a great help to the city to have her continue on a part-time basis until the position is filled. It will also ensure a smooth handoff to the next director. Therefore, I'm requesting the council approve this appointment. Thank you.
Questions for staff? Public comment?
I have no speakers.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second by Councilmember Ramirez, and hoping to get some help here from Mayor Pro Tem Hilton.
Got it. Consent the city administrator's recommendation to appoint Leanne McPhillips, CalPERS retired annuitant as of December 31st, 2025, as interim administrative services and human resources director, risk manager effective December 31st, 2025. Adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy approving the appointment of Leanne McPhillips, CalPERS retired annuitant as of December 31st, 2025, as interim administrative services and human resources director, risk manager effective December 31st, 2025, and waiving the 100-day wait period for post-retirement employment pursuant to Government Code Section 2122IH and Section 7522.56, authorizing the city administrator to execute the employment agreement.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 7, City Administrator's Report.
No report, unless I can find it real quick. I am going to report out very quickly. I had a real nice write-up, and I have buried it. But the Youth Commission put on 2 events over the last couple of weeks. One was with respect to intergenerational get-together. The Youth Commission served our seniors, and it was a really good event. And another one was held where they helped our seniors with their technology issues. So I really want to thank the efforts of the Youth Commission, Recreation, YMCA, and several other groups that collaborated on helping our local community members. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 8, City Attorney's Report.
I have no report other than I want to commend your city clerk who has dug into SB 707, which is this horrible new state law that's very confusing about Brown Act requirements. She's on top of it and sharing that with the council.
Okay, moving on to item number 9, closed session. Would you like to take it away, Andy?
Sure. Conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 and Gilroy City Code 17A8. Property APN 808-58004. Negotiators Brad Kilger, John Dowdy. Other parties to negotiations John Felice, Glenn Loma. Negotiations price and terms of payment for sale and or lease. So the appropriate thing to do now is to see if there's any public comment.
I have no speakers.
In that case, we should adjourn to closed session, and our first action in closed session is to take a vote on whether or not to stay in closed session, and that will be a reportable action.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
Yes, sir. It's open session's adjourned.
Open session's adjourned.
The city clerk used to be all that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was
Now you
wondering
tell me.
about that.
I'm like, you're in.
Yeah. I think it's good practice for
New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim, he's serious. You got it. You got it. However, you will need
She's so good. Andy, I love your report. This horrible state law.
It is. It's awful. It's really awful. I mean, it's just so badly written and so.